And then later today, plenty of sun, the high 38. Clouding up tonight, we're looking at rain toward daybreak. That could start as an icy mix north and west of I-287. 25 degrees now and sunny. Your 4-day forecast in just 2 minutes. I'm Susan Richard, WINS News Time 7:30.
And a very good morning. I'm Scott Stanford. Horrible tragedy last night in the skies over Washington, D.C. Officials say it is the deadliest commercial U.S. air crash in the last 15 years. So far, 30 bodies have been reportedly recovered. An American Airlines regional jet with 60 passengers and 4 crew members on board, colliding with an Army Black Hawk helicopter as the plane was headed for landing at Reagan National in D.C. The helicopter had 3 soldiers on board said to be doing a training mission. The plane coming in from Wichita, Kansas. Rescue crews continue to hunt for survivors. There have been no word yet on the possible cause of the mid-air collision. We're waiting on a press conference from officials in D.C. to give us the latest information. As soon as they start, we're going to dip into it live for the update. U.S. figure skating has confirmed that several skaters were on that flight as athletes, coaches, and family members were coming back from the National Development Camp in Kansas. Again, we're waiting on a press conference from officials in D.C. to give us the latest information. As soon as they start, we will dip in live for an immediate update on this horrific situation. WINS News Time, 7:31, traffic and transit. Let's get you back out to the roads. What do you say, Andre Ferro?
Well, we have trouble in Brooklyn if you're traveling westbound that Bell Parkway, right around Stillwell Avenue. That crash is causing not only delays on the obvious eastbound belt, but the westbound belt is slow because of it as well, as cars are going by taking a peek. But it's also having a trickle-down effect on the Verrazano Bridge, trying to get into Brooklyn. Bumper-to-bumper action across the span and all the way back to Victory Boulevard on the eastbound side of the Staten Island Expressway. Now, here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. Inbound George is 40 minutes. Southbound Palisades ramp, eastbound 46, all bad. The outbound George is okay. It's getting there, the problem. Big delays on the westbound Cross Bronx. Southbound 95, as you pass Co-op City and Bartow Avenue, that is also busy in the Bronx. And the southbound Egan coming down from Van Cortlandt Park, bumper to bumper. Go with the Henry Hudson Parkway and save some time. Inbound Lincoln is about 20 minutes, but the inbound Holland is going to be 30 to 35 because of the Pulaski Skyway delays, and then more delays as you approach 139 eastbound. Traffic sponsored by the Barnes Firm, traffic and transit on the ones, and breaking traffic alerts whenever they happen. Andre Ferro, 1010 WINS on 92.3 FM.
I'm attorney Rich Barnes. If you've been in a car crash, choosing the right firm is crucial to get the help you need and the best result possible.
The Barnes Firm, injury attorneys, call 1-800-8-million.
Manhattan, Long Island. I want to get a check of the AccuWeather forecast. Meteorologist Heather Zaire. We got some cold weather this morning, don't we?
We certainly do, even though across the area right now, that sun getting higher in the sky is going to be producing a blue sky for a good part of the day. We are still going to have a chilly breeze at times. That's leading it to feel like it's only in the teens this morning and probably no better than the upper 20s this afternoon. And that's despite a high of 38. Tonight, we're going to cloud up early on, then rain moves in toward daybreak in the city and nearby suburbs, including all along the coast. We'll have an evening glow in the mid-30s. Temperatures will then rise from there late tonight. However, north and west of 287, the rain could start as an icy mix, leading to areas of slick travel. Those areas are going to be below freezing much of the night, only getting back to 32 and above early in the day tomorrow. The rest of tomorrow, rain at times into the early evening with a high of 46, then sun returns, but brisk and chilly, high 40 Saturday. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zaire on New York's weather station, 1010 WINS on 92.3 FM.
Amazon Business offers smart business buying solutions, so you can spend more time growing your business and less time doing the admin. Learn more at AmazonBusiness.com.
WINS News Time, 7:34. The ceasefire between Israel and Hamas still in play, and that means eight hostages, I should say. 3 Israeli, 5 Thai hostages were released earlier on today. And I see that officials at the podium right now to give us an update on this horrific mid-air collision in D.C. Let's listen in right now.
Are here at Reagan National Airport to provide an update on the tragic events of last night. I'm joined by U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy, D.C. Fire and EMS Chief John Donnelly, American Airlines CEO Robert Eisen, the MWA, the Metropolitan Washington Airports Authority CEO Jack Carter, United States Senator Mark Warner, United States Senator Tim Kaine, U.S. Representative Don Beyer, as well as the Chief of the Metropolitan Police Department, Pamela Smith. And we are joined by first responders from across the metropolitan Washington region. I speak for all of us when I say, and certainly all Washingtonians, how very sad we are for American Airlines, for the United States Department of Defense, and for all Americans for the loss of life that happened with the collision of these aircrafts. We know that includes families from across our region as well as in Kansas and across the country. This morning we all share in a profound sense of grief. I do want to thank the first responders who acted quickly last night, who ran towards danger, went into a very frigid river, and have worked throughout the night. Chief Donnelly reported in last night's briefing that we have a strong mutual aid agreement in our region, and those teams have worked together throughout the night in really tough and heartbreaking conditions, and we should all thank them for their heroic efforts. So we'll have several updates today. I'm first going to turn to the Secretary of Transportation, Sean Duffy, and then you will hear directly from Chief John Donnelly with a situational update.
Thank you, Mayor. Again, Sean Duffy here, Secretary of Transportation. We wish we were gathering for different purposes today. I just want to let you know that the Department of Transportation, the FAA, along with the White House, President Trump, local, state, and federal partners all working together on this incident in unison. I couldn't be prouder of this team that's been assembled, working tirelessly. Mayor, I want to thank you specifically for your work. A few details I'd like to give all of you, and some of you reported this, but last night, if you live in the D.C. area, you would know that this was a clear night last night. The helicopter was in a standard pattern. If you live in the D.C. area, you'll see helicopters up and down the river. This flight pattern is seen oftentimes when you live in D.C. This was a standard flight pattern last night as well. The American airline flight coming into land was in a standard flight pattern as it was coming into DCA. So this was not unusual with a military aircraft flying the river and aircraft landing at DCA. And again, if you live in the area, you'll see that frequently with those two aircraft working together. As many of you have reported, we have located the two aircrafts. The fuselage of the American airline plane was inverted. It's been located in 3 different sections. It's in about waist deep water. So that recovery is going to go on today as that recovery takes place of the fuselage of the aircraft. NTSB is going to start to analyze that aircraft, partner with the FAA with all the information we have to get the best results possible for the American people. I would just say that safety is our expectation. Everyone who flies in American skies expects that we fly safely, that when you depart an airport, you get to your destination. That didn't happen last night. And I know that President Trump, his administration, the FAA, the DOT, we will not rest until we have answers for the families and for the flying public. You should be assured that when you fly, you're safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary. Thank you, Mayor. I'm joined today with Fire Chief Bonnet from the Metropolitan Washington Airports Authority, and I'm John Donnelly, Chief of the District of Columbia Fire and EMS Department. Last night at 8:48, the control tower sounded an alert, which alerts responders to respond to a report of an aircraft crash on or near the airport. That sets off an immediate response from the Airport Authority Fire Department, from the District of Columbia and Metropolitan Harbor Patrol fireboats and other fireboats on the river in order to support that type of operation. Very quickly, this call escalated. It became apparent, the responders realized that they had a plane crash and immediately escalated to a response that ultimately included about 300 people last night. These responders found extremely frigid conditions. They found heavy wind. They found ice on the water, and they operated all night in those conditions. I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge the agencies that responded in addition to DC Fire and EMS and the Metropolitan Washington Airports Authority: Montgomery County Fire Department, the Prince George's County Fire Department, the Charles County Fire Department, the Baltimore County Police Department, the Anne Arundel County Fire Department, the Alexandria Fire Department, the Arlington County Fire Department, the Fairfax Fire Department, the Prince William Fire Department, the Baltimore City Police Department, the Maryland State Police, the Maryland Natural Resources Police, the Department of Defense, the Joint Base in Bowling Fire Department and the staff there, the U.S. Army, the U.S. Coast Guard, the United States Park Police, the Metropolitan Police Department, the FBI, and the NTSB. Despite all those efforts, we are now at a point where we are switching from a rescue operation to a recovery operation. At this point, we don't believe there are any survivors from this accident. And we have recovered 27 people from the plane and 1 from the helicopter. The District Office of the Medical Examiner has lead on reuniting these bodies and these people with their loved ones, and we will continue to work to find all the bodies and collect them and reunite them with their loved ones. We should also acknowledge that the Virginia Medical Examiner and the Army Medical Examiner are involved in this operation and a very important part of getting people identified. So,
our hearts are certainly with all of the crew in American Airlines, and we'll hear from CEO Isom.
Thank you, Mayor. Good morning. I'm Robert Isom.
You've been listening to officials in D.C. giving us the very latest information on the mid-air collision last night. An American Airlines flight from Kansas coming in to land at Reagan National. The plane collided with a Black Hawk military copter with 3 soldiers on board, 64 passengers and crew on board that flight. So far, officials saying in that press conference, 28 bodies have been recovered in the crash. They have changed it from a search and rescue to recovery. Again, 28 bodies recovered. Officials, as you've been hearing, say they do not think anyone has survived this mid-air collision in D.C. last night. WINS News Time, 7:43. We're coming back with more right after.
All right, guys, a quick moment of silence to those who were lost in that extremely tragic accident. Thank you, and we'll see you on the next episode.